Hi, this is Saurabh Joshi from StratPost, and I'm here with Rajesh Gupta from MKU, who's going to tell us what we have behind us.
Hi. This is the new development of MKU, and what we have observed is the warfare today is becoming network centric. So we have designed a battle gear for the modern soldier, and we have called it NICS. It's a network centric integrated battle management system for the modern soldier. And what it does is basically this vest, it makes it possible to integrate various types of electro-optic devices, communication systems, and other things that make the soldier remain connected to his command post. It also comes with, a health monitoring system by which, if you look at it this way, here on this, monitor, you will find you have the various parameters, medical parameters of the soldier which are displayed, including the position in which he is either standing or lying prone or whatever. And all this comes in useful when you have to monitor a soldier from far away. So it does two things. One, it helps that soldier to remain protected. It also helps him to remain connected, and therefore this is the modern soldier's vest.
So tell us, how much of this is modular off the shelf?
As far as the vest is concerned, yes, it is modular in the sense that it can be designed to meet the individual requirements of a customer. It is modular because what is the type of connections that have to be made? What are the types of devices that have to be integrated? That will actually depend on the end user. Now, whatever devices that the end user has can be integrated onto the same system. So to that extent, it is very flexible, very modular, and it can take care of all the devices that a customer would like to get integrated with the system.
What kind of interest have you seen so far at the show in this?
A huge amount of interest. In fact, earlier this afternoon, the Home Secretary himself was here with his entire team of officers, and they were pretty interested in this kind of a system, which they felt is probably their answer to their soldiers' requirement. And even as far as the army is concerned, they are looking at something similar for the future programs, for the modern soldier of the future.
Are you thinking about participating in the Indian Army has had a future, an FNSAS system, future infantry for soldiers system. Are you thinking of going down that road?
We have already been part of the FNSAS program since it was launched here. And not only in India, we are part of this future soldier program with some of the other armies of the world. And our team of engineers has been working on this program for several years now. We would definitely be part of it in the current domain as well as going forward.
So tell us some details about the system. I mean, what kind of battery are you using? What kind of endurance does it have? What kind of ruggedness does it have?
I would not say that the system is totally developed. It is still being developed. But it has a battery pack running into 40 hours or more. It is rechargeable because we are using solar cells. So to that extent, a soldier who is using this system can probably be able to sustain himself over a period of time. Since these batteries can be recharged again using solar cells, it becomes even more easier for a person to remain in the field and yet remain connected.
And what kind of wattage, power generation, how many devices can it power?
As I mentioned to you, this is modular. So, for instance, the system that you see over here, there are more than 5 or 6 devices which are already connected to it. It depends on the requirement of the individual soldier, and the system can be geared up to meet the requirements. If they require more devices to be attached to this particular system, it can be configured to do the same.
MKU has a lot of other products, isn't it? Historically, I mean,
Yes.
This is merely the latest in a long line of products. You have night vision devices, you have armor protection, you have up armoring. Tell us what the range is like. Give us an idea.
Well, MKU is basically into protection and surveillance. Now, these are the two broad domains that we are operating in. Within the protection range, we do protection for the personnel, which is the soldier. We do protection of the platforms, which is land vehicles, naval vessels, as well as aircrafts. And in surveillance domain, we are basically into the electro-optics, we do night vision devices, we do a host of other electro-optical devices, and only yesterday we have signed a JV with Schwabe, and now we will be getting into the platform-mounted electro-optic devices also. And this agreement that we are now coming out with Schwabe will probably enable us to not only work on the existing platforms which the Indian forces are using, but also to be able to supply them the systems for their future platforms.
And MKU also has, I mean, MKU has a strong export base. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How many countries, which countries, what products?
We are one of the lucky few probably, but luck has not much to do with it. It's more of, planning. Very early, very early in our career, we decided that yes, we would not remain dependent on the local market, on the domestic market. So what we did is we consciously moved out into the world and we looked at the globe as the market. It is a result of this strategy of ours that we were able to grow and also sustain ourselves. And today, we are probably trusted by more than 230 forces. We have a presence in more than 109 countries globally. We are probably present across all the continents. We are very strong in Latin America. We are present probably in most of the members of the European Union. We are present in the Middle East. We are present in Africa. We are present in Southeast Asia. In fact, even Japan. So, virtually everywhere.
Tell us about a little bit about some of the work that you've done internationally. For instance, with helicopters in Mexico, I believe.
Yeah, helicopter armoring has been one of our strong domains. In fact, we've done more than 250 of these, aircrafts globally. One of the important projects that we did was for the Mexican police, and these helicopters basically were being used in operation against the drug lords there. And there's a very interesting story behind it. After we completed the armoring of these helicopters, they were in operation, actual operation, and during that operation, one of those helicopters came under fire and it was shot almost 19 times and nothing happened either to the nothing happened either to the platform or to the occupants inside. So that is the robustness of the systems that we have provided. Many of these helicopters and platforms have also seen operation in the harshest terrains like Afghanistan. We have been constantly supplying to the NATO forces, to the German Army Aviation, and many other forces. And very interestingly, now we have started probably working in India also. The first prototype is under development, which we are doing for one of the armed forces, here in India.
You also have operations in Germany. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What do you do there?
Yeah, the German operations actually were acquired. It was an existing company in Germany, which we acquired in 2007-8. And then it has now become a 100% subsidiary of ours. With the acquisition, we wanted to strengthen our presence in Europe. Many a times, when you are working in Europe and you're working with European clients, it becomes easier if you have a base there. It has also given us a foothold into the platform armoring business. We have acquired that domain. Another important, benefit of this acquisition was that with this acquisition, we were able to get our own ballistic lab, and that has been a big help. As a manufacturing company, a company which is manufacturing body armor and different types of armor solutions, it is very, very important that we have the facility to regularly test the products that we make. And with this acquisition, we were able to get, this ballistic lab, where we are able to do all our tests nowadays.
What kind of opportunities are you seeing in India right now, forthcoming?
It's an open fact. India is the land of opportunities, not only for us, but for the global OEMs. And the basic domestic requirement itself is huge. We have a huge army, we have a huge paramilitary force, and we have also got a huge population with large borders, both literal and land-based. And the fact is that we also have a hostile territory, So all this put together means that the requirement of the defense forces here to upgrade the security, of the nation is huge, and it's probably going to continue for a long time. We as a company feel that even the homeland security market is a very, very big market that we probably can look into. And since we are into ballistic protection, we are into the manufacture of body armor, surveillance, all these equipments are also required by the homeland security market. So overall, yes, the markets are huge, and with the change in the government perception and policies, things are also improving. Hopefully even the procurement process will get time bound, and we will see more action here.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a tender coming up for bulletproof vests for the Indian Army, one that was withdrawn last year. Tell us about your foray into that.
We are ready for it. This tender, as you have rightly said, was withdrawn for various reasons. One of the reasons probably was that at that time the necessary solutions were not available. But believe you me, this happened more because of probably a lack of complete understanding of the requirements, or because the messages were not very, very clear. We on our part are pretty confident of our own technical prowess. We have been working on these solutions, and we would definitely be ready to provide the necessary solution to the Army as and when they come up with this tender. And not only for the Indian Army, we have been working on similar requirements for global armies.
You're a Kanpur-based company that seems to have done really well internationally. You're a strong contributor to export revenue in the defense sector. Tell us a little about that, about the share of revenue that you have generated in terms of defense exports.
Yeah, like I mentioned to you in the very beginning, we have not been totally dependent on the on the domestic market. And as a result of this, we forayed out into the international market. Today we are present in more than 100 countries. Almost 70 to 80% of our turnover comes from exports. And this year probably we would be crossing 300 crores in exports alone. In one of the recent presentations in the parliament, they had said that 60% of the 60% of the exports, defense exports, came from the private sector. And you would be surprised to know that out of that 60%, 66% is the share of MKU alone. So we are probably the largest private sector defense exporter in the country today.
Would you say that you have been making in India before Make in India?
We have been making in India for the last 30 years. We have been exporting exporting made in India products for the more than 10 years now, 15 years now. So we have been actually, working in India, and we have been making for the world. But I'm very, very happy to note that the government also now understands that exports is a very important part of defense manufacturing. And exports would not only add to the revenue of the government exchequer, it would also help to enable the companies to survive. It will help them to improve their technology base, and it will also help them more lean and mean and to be able to take on the world. So even in order to meet the domestic requirement and to meet the government's stated aim of becoming self-reliant in defense production, it is important for the Indian companies to export and get exposed to the international market and requirements.
Mr. Gupta, thanks for your time. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
That was Rajesh Gupta from MKU talking to us about MKU's business in the defense sector, the company's share of defense exports, how his company has been making in India before the Make in India initiative was taken up by the new government. You're watching StratPost.